Good morning. Today we're gathered here in this community like we do each and every Sunday. But what is different from each and every Sunday is precisely who is in the circle. So whoever we are today as a gathered community, we're welcome. If you're here for one time out of what seems like 100 or 1,000, you're welcome. If you're here for the first time or one of the first few times, you're most welcome. And we are this circle each and every Sunday. So whether you're here for the first or for one in many, we gather together to be with one another. We do that in lots of different ways. We do that by sharing our lives with each other, all the chit-chat and chatter that as we catch up with each other and share our lives with one another. But also we do that through the act of being in silence, being in word and in song together, in sharing wisdom and values with each other that hopefully make the next few days of our lives a little bit better, a little bit easier, perhaps a little more challenging, depending on where we are in our lives right now. This is a safe place. We're free to express ourselves here, to be in grief, to be in joy, to be tired, or to be wide awake. We are a safe place no matter who we are on life's journey. This is a place where we're all welcome. And what a privilege it is to meet here in this place that has been constructed by the life of community, both by who is here and the physical walls that we've put up to house us. We are grateful for the land on which we sit right now, the land that has been shared with us through so many generations, the land that is, in gratitude, we speak to our First Nations brothers and sisters and to our Papas Chase friends. We are grateful to be here, and we are grateful for this place. As we focus ourselves today, as we bring awareness to our lives, as we bring awareness to this very moment, of which there will never be another one like it, may we join together in song and be fully present here this morning. This is the place, and now is the time.
Here and now, life invites us.
To open our minds.
To extend our hearts.
To change our ways.
To feel more deeply.
To see more clearly.
To love more fully.
Here and now.
Life invites us to be present and aware.
we allow this light to burn in our midst this morning for many reasons. But today may we focus on this light and let it remind us of all the lights in our lives for which we are grateful. The lights of great teachers, the lights of good friends, the lights of those for whom we get to share our days with, and the lights of those for whom we grieve, and whom we no longer have the privilege. May this light be a sign for us of our connection with each other. Through life, through death, through all the circumstances and changes of life, we recognize our connection, our deep heart connection with each other, with each creature, with the world. May this be a reminder to us as it burns in our midst this morning. Let's share words of our intentions together. We pause as we breathe deeply in this moment, this light, this miracle that is now. Beneath our worries and preoccupations, in the midst of disturbing events and urgent cries, may we be attentive to the goodness of life, to the grace of what is possible for us to be, to do, to give, to receive. May we release our burdensome expectations, shriveling anxieties, and dead certainties, to be softened by silence, surrounded by light, and open to the joy that seeks us. May it be so. Today I'd like to read a book called Have You Filled a Bucket Today? Do you know this book? You've read that at home. This is quite a popular book, so it's not surprising that you know this, but I would like to read it for all of us again today because I think it's a great story. And it also helps us in Kid Spirit classes lately. You've been talking about peace. And peace is a very big topic. I mean, there's There's world peace, and there's peace that we feel inside of us, and there's lots of ways that we can make peace with friends and with family. But it's often difficult to know just how there are so many different ways to live a peaceful life. This is a book that helps us to know a few really good ways to live a peaceful life. So here is this story, Have You Filled a Bucket Today? By Carol McLeod, and it's illustrated by David Messing. I will show you the pictures. A long day, oh no, I'm sorry, I already got it wrong. You're right, you could do it better than me. But since I've got the microphone, I'll try again. All day long, everyone in the whole wide world walks around carrying an invisible bucket. You can't see it, but it's there. You have a bucket. Each member of your family has a bucket. Your grandparents, friends, and neighbors all have a bucket. Everyone carries an invisible bucket. Are you imagining that right now? Good, okay, great. Your bucket has one purpose only. Its purpose is to hold your good thoughts and your good feelings about yourself. You feel very happy and good when your bucket is full, and you feel very sad and lonely when your bucket is empty. Other people feel the same way too. They're happy when their buckets are full, and they're sad when their buckets are empty. It's great to have full buckets. And this is how it works. You need other people to fill your bucket, and other people need you to fill theirs. So, how do you fill a bucket? You fill a bucket when you show love to someone, when you say or do something kind, or even when you give someone a smile. That is being a bucket filler. A bucket filler is a loving, caring person who says or does nice things that make others feel special. When you make someone feel special, you are filling a bucket. But you can also dip into a bucket and take out some good feelings. You dip into a bucket when you make fun of someone, or when you say or do mean things, or even when you ignore someone. That's being a bucket dipper. A bully is a bucket dipper. A bucket dipper says or does mean things that make others feel bad. Many people who dip have an empty bucket. They think they can fill their own bucket by dipping into somebody else's. But that will never work. You can never fill your own bucket when you dip into someone else's. But guess what? When you fill someone's bucket, you fill your own bucket too. You feel good when you help others feel good. All day long, we're either filling up or dipping into each other's buckets by what we say and what we do. Try to fill a bucket and see what happens. You love your mom and dad? Why not tell them you love them? You can even tell them why. Your caring words will fill their buckets right up. Watch for smiles to light up their faces. You will feel like smiling too. A smile is a good clue that you have filled a bucket. If you practice, you'll become a great bucket filler. Just remember that everyone carries that invisible bucket, and think of what you can say or do to fill it. Here are some ideas. You could smile and say hi to a bus driver. He has a bucket too, or she. You could invite the new kid at school to play with you. Don't you love how his bucket also has wheels? I think that's pretty amazing. You could write a thank you note to your teacher. You could tell your grandpa that you like to spend time with him. There are many ways to fill a bucket. Bucket filling is fun and easy. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. It doesn't cost any money. It doesn't take much time. And remember, when you fill someone else's bucket, you fill your own too. When you're a bucket filler, you make your home, your school, your neighborhood better places to be. Bucket filling makes everyone feel good. So why not decide to be a bucket filler today and every day? Just start your day by saying to yourself, I'm going to do something to fill someone's bucket today. And you never know, we might all have full buckets. So, I like that story. It's not really a story, but it's a really good lesson. And so I wonder if you can go practice bucket filling in Kid Spirit today and through the day as you talk about peace, as you sing some songs, as you do lots of things with each other. And we're all going to try to do that today. Not just you young ones. We're all going to try and do it. Okay? So
Just then, a lawyer stood up to test Jesus. "Teacher," he said, "what must I do to earn a worthy and rewarding life?" And Jesus said to him, "Well, what is written in the law? What do you read there?" And the lawyer answered, "You shall love your Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and you'll love your neighbor as yourself." And Jesus said to him, "You've given the right answer. Now, go and you will do that, and you will live well." But wanting to find a loophole, the lawyer asked Jesus, "Well, how do you define neighbor?" Jesus replied, "A man was going down the road from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell into the hands of robbers who stripped him, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. Now, by chance, a priest came by, and when he saw him lying on the road, he passed by on the other side. So likewise, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, he passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, while traveling down the same road, came near him, and when he saw him lying there, he was moved with pity. He went to him and bandaged up his wounds, having poured oil and wine over them first. Then he put this stranger on his own animal and brought him to an inn and took care of him. The next day, the Samaritan took out 2 denarii and gave him to the innkeeper and said, "Take care of him, and when I come back, I will repay you whatever else you have had to spend." "So," said Jesus to the lawyer, "which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers. The lawyer said, well, the one who showed mercy. And Jesus said to him, go and do likewise. This is part of a story that Jesus told about ignorance and compassion.
No Zen student would presume to teach others until he had lived with his master for at least 10 years. Tenno, having completed his 10 years, acquired the rank of teacher. One day he went to visit the master Nanin. It was a rainy day, so Tenno wore wooden clogs and carried an umbrella. When he walked in, Nanin greeted him with, "You left your wooden clogs and umbrella on the porch, didn't you? Tell me, did you place your umbrella on the right side of your clogs or on the left?" Tenno was embarrassed, for he did not know the answer. He realized he lacked awareness. So he became Nanin's student and labored for another 10 years to acquire a sense of awareness and presence. This is an insight from ancient Buddhism. May we find wisdom for our living. Well, in the journey that is our lives, it would be sure great to have signposts that directed us in the right way at times, that could say things like, slow down, or danger ahead, or share the road. As we've been exploring over the last few weeks, we've been sharing signposts that might have meaning for us in our spiritual journeys. Do not pass is a sign that would be quite helpful to us, I think, when we find ourselves passing right on by the things that matter. When we're tempted to motor on ahead, forgetting to look at what the view is right beside us. I take the same freeway to the office every day. Often I'll have an errand to run after work, and it requires me to travel sometimes one exit further on the road than I would normally exit to go home. Almost half the time, do you know where I end up? At home. Or maybe a block from home, and I think, oh. And it's not because I've totally forgotten. I've just partially forgotten. It's because my habit took me where I'm used to going. I passed by my intentions because I wasn't aware. I, many times in my life, would not know on which side my umbrella was to my clogs. Tom Vanderbilt says in his book entitled Traffic, Why We Drive the Way We Do. I like the subtitle under that, which is, and what it says about us. Suggests that something happens when we get into our vehicles. Something that challenges not only our awareness and our intentions, but our very humanity. He says that there is in our driving a commonplace but peculiar fact of life. We are how we move. The interesting question is not whether some of us are more prone to act like homicidal maniacs once we get behind the wheel, but why we all act differently. What is going on seems to have less to do with a change in personality than with a change in our entire being. In traffic, we struggle to stay human. It's not just traffic, I think, that has us struggling to stay human either. I think that if the Good Samaritan story was written today, it would be written in traffic. It would be written on the Henday or the White Mud or the Yellowhead. But cars or no cars, we're constantly being challenged to stay human. The retail world is no different. Our interaction with those who serve us at various different times of the day has us interacting with each other, often not as humans, but as a means to get what we want and what we need. Retail employees are no longer human to us, but a hindrance to finding what we're looking for, or the person who's never in the aisle when we need them to ask them a question. We're never fast or efficient enough when we're in a hurry. And the attitude from the other side of the counter, I'm sure, is much the same. We're the customer right before the break. We are the PIN number fiasco. We are the 30 items in the 15-item lane. Staying human in our existence isn't easy, and yet staying human we must. The alternative isn't good. The biggest obstacle to our humanity is really about identity. In a car, the other car doesn't hold a human with a sick partner or 5 children to pick up or too many jobs or anything we relate to. The problem is our identity and our inability or reservation to communicate in necessary ways to establish that identity or discover in others. When we feel wronged on the road, it's often impossible to send a message to another driver, and yet we still try. We still get visibly mad to an audience of no one. Vanderbilt again suggests we're engaging in a kind of theatric storytelling when that happens. Inside our cars, we construct moral dramas in which we are the wronged victims and the avenging hero. In some traffic epic of larger importance. So sometimes in an effort to create new meaning for the encounter, we'll try to find something out about this other driver who's acting like such an idiot. We'll try to just pull up on them, see what they look like. Who is this acting this way? Meanwhile, we're running down a potential list of villains. Oh, they're a woman. Oh, they're a man. Oh, they're a teenager. Oh, they're a senior citizen. Oh, they're a truck driver. Oh, they're a fill in the blank. We run this list before we find a suitable resolution to the drama to explain. And at least some of this anger seems intended to maintain our sense of identity, another human trait that we often lose in traffic. But the driver is reduced to a brand of vehicle or an anonymous license plate number. We look for a glimpse of meaning in this sea of anonymity. Think of when you've driven out of the province or out of the country. Does it not give you delight to see an Alberta license plate? In just some small way. Oh, look! We search subconsciously for any hint of something to connect us to the other. Take away human identity and human contact, or shroud them in a ton of metal, and we act inhuman at times. In one study, researchers planted a car at an intersection and had the blocking car intentionally not move after the light had turned green. And then they measured how quickly drivers behind them honked, how many times they honked, and how long each honk was. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of data that we could examine in that study, but the one that's interesting to me is that drivers in convertibles with the top down took longer to honk, honked less, and honked for shorter durations than did the more anonymous drivers with the tops up. Now, it could be that just people in convertibles are just much happier people. But the results suggest that anonymity is detrimental to our civil human behavior. If someone can look at you and see the face of who's that guy honking, we're less apt to do it. Which says nothing about use of our fingers or our mouths or whatever else we do inside of our cars. But really, it's not just our cars that shroud our anonymity, is it? It's not just our cars where we struggle to be human. Our rationalizations shroud us also. When we pass a motorist on the side of the road having car trouble, how often have I said, oh, they probably have roadside assistance. It's okay. How many times when we pass someone on the street do we say, I just don't have cash in my pocket? Or, I don't know what they're going to spend this on. We have a lot of ways of shrouding our humanity in our quick and our easy rationalizations. Staying human, I think, is the theme of the story of the Good Samaritan. When the priest and the religious Levite man approach the beaten man at the side of the road, they do all they can to pass right by. I'm sure that if they were wearing hoods or hats or veils or anything, they did their best not to be seen. They certainly passed by trying to avoid being affected or impacted or emotionally involved. They tried so hard that they crossed to the other side of the road to get as far away from the injured man as they can. A road sign might have been helpful in this situation. A check on humanity. Are you being human? The sign could say. Or maybe one that I would like to have in front of me every once in a while, a picture of Gandalf standing in the middle of the road with his staff declaring, "You shall not pass!" Alas, it's the climax of the story. It's the payoff. It's the main point. Who stops? It's not the people with fancy words or fancy clothes. It's not the ones in a position of authority and power that you'd expect to be good people. It's not the ones who ought to know about compassion and kindness. It's not those. It's the ones you'd least expect. It's the foreigner. It's the Samaritan. It's the refugee. It's the one who looks nothing like those around him. The one who many would ignore or reject. It's the one who not only cares for this injured person, but who goes beyond that to make sure he's safe, to ensure that he nor anyone else is out of pocket for their trouble. Sometimes remembering our humanity requires a sign, and sometimes it doesn't. There's an economic term, uninternalized externalities. Now, I tell you, don't get that phrase in a game of charades. Good luck with that one. I think if I understand it correctly, and there's probably people in this room that are much smarter than me when it comes to this, but uninternalized externalities means that you're not feeling the pain that you're causing others. There are a few people in the news and in the world right now who have a problem with uninternalized externalization. You don't feel the pain that you're causing others. It happens in traffic, it happens in life. It happened to the priest and the religious Levite. It happens to us. Staying human in our world, in part, means coming to grips with those external things that we've not yet taken on ourselves. In what ways our behavior, our lack of communication, our lack of humanity, our lack of connection causing pain? If not pain, then at least aggravation. If not aggravation, then at least harm to someone, anyone else. The largest truth when we're angry in a traffic jam, and all the other drivers that we're annoyed at, is our internalizing of it. What I mean is recognizing that we are the traffic jam. When we forget that, we're forgetting our humanity. It's painful but true. Everyone else has chosen that same road, and you wish they hadn't, but you have chosen that road. In the same way, we are the traffic jam. We are also the world's lack of compassion. We are also our community's pain. We are our social issues. Awareness is many things. I mean, sure, awareness lies at that level of remembering where you put your umbrella. It's about going through the world with your eyes open and being aware of each moment. It's about remembering where your keys are, or where your glasses are, or your exit on the freeway. Because really, all our forgetfulness is really about awareness in the moment, rather than being on autopilot and doing rote behaviors that just take us over, like I get distracted, so I put my keys in a pocket I've never put them in before. It's because I'm not paying attention. That's the kind of awareness that serves us every day. And we may never get to the level of the awareness that has us committing to 10 more years of study and meditation to overcome it. However, we recognize awareness also as being about seeing the signs on the road, as being about recognizing the realities and the needs of the moment that are right in front of us, in being willing to attend to them. There's a sense to awareness that says interruptions are okay. Side trips are welcome. Delays are sometimes necessary because that's the way we attend to this moment. Passing by the opportunities to be human is a tragedy. Seeing beyond our steel cages or our masks or our labels to the place where we can sit with or attend to or wait beside or stand by those who need it most. That would be a human signpost that we well could read and heed. And that's our task and our challenge and our privilege. As we ponder where we might stop, spend more time, open our eyes to awareness to what's right in front of us. As we take time to ponder the places in our lives where we're moving to the other side of the road, may we recognize our call and our great privilege to be human and to stay human. And may it be so in so many ways.
Oh, why you look so sad? Tears are in your eyes. Come on and come to me now. Don't be ashamed to cry. Let me see you through. 'Cause I've seen the dark side too. And when the night falls on you and you don't know what to do, nothing you confess could make me love you less. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. So, if you're mad, get mad. Don't hold it all inside. Come on and talk to me now. Hey, what you got to hide? I get angry too. Well, I'm a lot like you. When you're standing at a crossroads and don't know which path to choose, let me come along. Oh, 'cause even if you're wrong, I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. I won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. And when the night falls on you, baby, you're feeling all alone. You won't be on your own. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. I won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. I won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. Oh, I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Oh, I'll stand by you.
May we go from this place recognizing that we are always called to our highest humanity and our best and truest values. May we go from this place as neighbors, as friends, as lovers of this world. May we go to serve and to live and to love. Ones to stand together.